It's Tom Fury, Zero News. I hope you found it interesting me showing you the little bit of the analytics last night. I hope you took it with the spirit that it was intended. I just wanted to say something today about the whole Israel thing and Saudi Arabia and everything else. Now, it's not my plan to be doing Israel, Saudi Arabia daily. Like, there's many things I'm trying to research and cover at the same time. I bring this up today because I get frustrated with some of the answers that I get. But I don't want any particular one person to take offense at anything. This is more about a general feeling that I'm getting, and people have got to realise they need to step away from the cookie jar. Sorry, they need to step back a little bit and let me discover, because otherwise they're going to make me even more like, what's the problem here? Now it seems like you're defending something that you don't need to, because I'm not attacking. And it makes people, like, I don't want to develop a bias, because then all the research goes down the toilet because you've got a research bias, right? So I'm trying to keep away from that. But when people start randomly defending Israel and not Saudi Arabia, this is where the problem comes. And what I mean is, like, I'll give you one example out of hundreds I've seen over the last few days. Again, it's got nothing to do with the Jews, Israel. And prominent Jews that are in powerful positions, not the average person. So, Zionism, for instance, I think the word's been butchered, but here's the truth. It seems to me like there's, as people like to say, multiple meanings, but there's two meanings that I found to be the most meaningful. The narrative one that people use, and the hardcore one. But I'm not prepared to go out on my shield and say that yet. What I will say is, me bringing up Zionism to, like, the AI that I brought up yesterday. I actually didn't bring up Zionism, it brought up Zionism, but the point of it being is, when I bring that up, there's no point people saying to me, oh yeah, well, there's different interpretations of Zionism. Well, that isn't an answer to the question then, is it? That further confuses the matter. So it's not an answer. That doesn't make me go, oh yeah, there's different meanings. I'll walk away then. No, if there's different meanings, that's just made it more intriguing, because why are there different meanings, right? With Islam, you know that it's decentralized. It's got multiple different sects and things like that believe slightly different things, right? So we just walk away from it then because it's more complicated than what we thought? No. So Israel seems to have different definitions of Zionism. I even heard somebody talking about Zionism the other day who said Zionism had nothing to do with being Jewish, and that the Zionists weren't Jews. Now, I don't believe that, but I mean, this person was trying to make a good argument for it. So I'm looking at all avenues. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at every avenue. But saying to me, oh yeah, there's different meanings to the word Zionism. Nothing further to see here. Well, there is something further to see there, because the question is this Zionism, or is Zionism about, blah, blah, blah? When the question gets met with, oh, there's loads of meanings to it, well, that means you've just handed a load of questions to me then. Not answers, questions. So you can't say, oh yeah, it's got lots of meanings. Walk away now. What? Well, hang on a minute. Everybody's been on their high horse telling me it means a homeland for the Jews. The end. And that's what I was told multiple times, in spite of the evidence. The end. Homeland for the Jews. The end. Now it's got multiple meanings. Now I'm investigating. Now I'm investigating Saudi harder, actually. But it's interesting that I'm not getting the pushback with Saudi. Although what I will say, and Steve pointed this out as well, is that, but in fact, let's just go to Saudi for a second. Less and less people are slagging Saudi off now. Why is that? Well, this is what happens when you buy sports, and then both the sportsmen and women are scared to criticise, when the comedians that were slagging it off and calling it blood money have gone over there and taken that money. When you take money with Saudi Arabia, you sign a deal. And one of the deals is like an NDA, and the other one is to come back and say only nice things about it. You have to. It's part of the contract. So Steve's right. There's been a drop-off in people criticising it because of the fact that it's done this thing to our culture. So he's right to point that out. However, that doesn't leave Israel off the hook. Again, if you can look at Islam and realise it's got multiple truths to certain things, like the religion of peace, meaning submit to the will of Allah, right? So everybody translates things how they want. But the fact of it is, there seems to be, to me, to be two major states of Zionism. One is the narrative around the world of homeland for the Jews, no problem with that. The other one is a hardcore sect, similar to Islam in some ways, in as much as it's hardcore, it's supremacist, it's, yeah. And it seems to be separate from the main group. And I think that's why somebody said 250,000 people. It kind of makes sense when you think of the positions that these people are in. And again, there's even an argument to say that, look, even Jewish people don't consider some of them Jewish. But, you know, so it's more to look into. But, so this isn't really a video about much today, other than when you step in the way of me and you say, oh yeah, it's got multiple interpretations, nothing more to see here. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Well, then don't I need to look at each interpretation? Stepping in my way makes me paranoid that you're trying to hide something. I'm sure you're not, but you see where I'm coming from? Like, where is the free range of free speech and free inquiry? Free inquiry. That's all this is inquiry. You don't go necessarily with inquiry looking for bad results. You just go looking for results. Whether they're bad or good, that's down to what comes back. That's not in my control. But why are people so worried about me asking questions like that? Zionism, yes, it does have multiple meanings, but there seems to be only a couple that matter. And just saying that does not end the questioning. It actually opens up far more questions. Well, how many sects? How many different versions of it are there? What's the most prevalent? What are the two most prevalent? What are the beliefs of the most prevalent? That's important to know. Don't shoo me off of the subject by saying, oh, it's got multiple answers. It's too complex for you, Tom. Well, Islam wasn't. I'll decide what's too complex for me. But it's got nothing to do with complexity. It's to do with steering me away from the subject. Don't steer me away from the fucking subject, because it makes me more paranoid that there is something to hide. So let me do my own inquiry, and guess what? I will be fair and down the middle, because I always am. And I will say the good things, and I will say the bad things. But when messed with, it's going to add a bias to me. Let me do my free inquiry without bias. Otherwise, the inquiry gets ruined by the bias. And when people are telling me, oh, don't do that, you're making me think, oh, I need to do that. Yeah, I need to do it now, because now people are shooing me away from it. Why? You see what I'm saying? So, free inquiry is another kind of freedom that we're supposed to have. When people shoo me away from it, I see an issue. Just saying. And this is not having to go at anybody. This is just like, these are why people get paranoid. Yeah, even if there's nothing to hide, even if everything's totally innocent, this kind of behavior is why people get paranoid. Because there's this big rush to save the Israeli state. There's this big rush to defend them. There's this big rush to disassociate them with any wrongdoing ever. Why? We wouldn't do that for any other country. We'd call them all tossers, because we know that they are. All countries have got bad governments. So it's very troubling for me when I get that kind of response. Yeah, just letting you know. I'm just being honest. I'm being totally 100% honest, because I want to do this in good faith. Tom Fury, ZIONISM, calling it a day for now.